Hello and welcome back to the channel. I am Justice. He is Terramaster. It is Friday, and it is time for another video. Yesterday, you saw what happens when two idiots don't read cards and try to break the rules to make a deck. Today, you are going to see what happens when those same two idiots try to put together an actual best case scenario for Kagemaru and his Sacred Beasts. Let's dive into it. We talked about the Sacred Beasts yesterday. We're not really going to go over those again. They're huge. They're humongous. That's what they do. All right, now we're going to give some actual good support cards for them. Let's start with our first card. It is the Chaos Summoning Beast. It is a level 1/0/0, but that's okay because you're not trying to leave it on the field. When you tribute it, you can special summon one Uriah, Haman, or Raviel from your hand, ignoring summoning conditions. Boy, that sounds a whole lot better than playing some really bad cards to try to enable them. But that's not all. You can banish this card, but wait, there's more. You can banish this card from your graveyard to add one Fallen Paradise from your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. We will show you Fallen Paradise a little bit later in the video. Better just go.
Something to look forward to. Don't skip ahead. Wait.
Wait, come back.
Just drawing this plus a Sacred Beast is so much better than having to go through like multiple turns of setup potentially and drawing exactly one type of card and filling your deck with that type of card. So yeah, I think something like this is necessary for the deck to be playable. Sacred Beast, honestly.
Which is why we're not getting it. But anyway. Yeah, I agree.
All right. Dark Beckoning Beast. When it's normal summon, you can add one Sacred Beast or one card that specifically lists any of those cards in your text from your deck to your hand, except Dark Beckoning Beast. So no looping. Looping bad. You can only use this effect of Dark Beckoning Beast once per turn. During your main phase, you can normal summon one Fiend monster with 0 attack and defense in addition to your normal summoner set. So look how much synergy that has with the Chaos Summoning Beast already. That second effect, right?
Yeah, that last effect is huge.
Yep. Also the first effect, right? Because if you open this plus the Chaos Summoner, you search the Sacred Beast you want to summon, and then you can go into it. If you open this plus Sacred Beast, you search the Chaos Summoning Beast. So,
yeah,
did I get that right?
Summon it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, perfect.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's really nice. All right, our next card is Dark Summoning Beast. It is a level 5. However, again, you notice it does work with the other one, whereas you summon it, you can search this and then immediately tribute for it. So it's not as bad as you think it is. You can tribute it to special summon one of the Sacred Beasts from your hand or deck, ignoring summoning conditions from the deck. Also, monsters you control cannot attack for the rest of this turn, so there is a downside to it. You can only use it once per turn. You can also banish the Dark Summoning Beast from your graveyard to add a Sacred Beast from your deck to your hand, so it has additional power after that as well.
Seeing consistency makes me so happy. Please, Konami, please, consistency, please. Searching, please.
Yeah, you know, this is going to be a very quick tangent, hopefully, and maybe it's a topic for another video.
Okay.
But, like, I am happier when decks are more consistent at doing what they're trying to do and then battling each other, rather than how badly did you brick versus, you know, how badly did your opponent brick. Like, without it being, like, crazy. I don't want it, oh, well, I'm consistent at making you unable to play the game. That's bad. But if it's like, I can consistently bring out my boss monster. I can consistently bring out my boss monster. Let's see what we can do. Like, that's cool. That's fun. Those are fun games.
Yeah, exactly. Back and forth, Yugioh. Come on.
Yep.
Give it to me. All right, we're done with the monsters that support the Sacred Beast, but we got a couple generics in here for you, starting with the Gan. This is Sen Gan, level 3 Dark Fiend, 1000 attack, 600 defense. If it's sent from the field to the graveyard, add a monster with 1500 or less attack from your deck to your hand, but you cannot activate cards or effects of cards with this name, that name, for the rest of the turn. So basically, it would just be an opener in this deck specifically, where you would like set it, your opponent kills it, you search either one of your support pieces that you want / need, probably the Beckoning Beast, or funny enough, you can also search Uriah. So there you go. There's
and it's a fiend, just in case that's relevant.
Exactly. True.
All right, next we're moving on to a card that Terramaster and I both have kind of wanted for a while now, which is Snipe Hunter. If you played older Yu-Gi-Oh, you should be very familiar with this card, because this card definitely saw a lot of play back in the day. It is level 4, 1500 attack. What it does is you discard a card, then targets one card in the field. So, bad against Cyber Angels. You roll a 6-sided die, and you destroy the target unless it's a 1 or a 6. So it's not a guaranteed destruction. It does require discard. It does have some synergy here, not just for being a fiend, but also because some of these cards do have graveyard effects.
Yes.
So that actually can be helpful, and it's just, spot removal.
Yeah.
Imagine.
I mean, 2/3 of the time it is just discard a card, pop a card, which is like really good. Trust me.
Yeah. But like also not super unfair either.
Right.
So yeah.
All right. It's time for spells. We got Sacred Beast support spells, starting with Cerulean Scar. What? Yu-Gi-Oh! Players can't read. Exhibit number 7 million. All right. Cerulean Skyfire. I almost did it again. All right. To special summon Hamon specifically only, not all of them. Using its own procedure, you can also... Why do they use the word procedure? Whatever. You can also use face-down spells you control. Once per turn, while you control an attack position Hamon, you can negate any spell trap activated by your opponent, then change one Hamon you control to defense mode. If a face-up Uriah, Hamon, or Raviel you control leaves the field, you take no damage this turn. The last part is kind of meh, but it's also not like completely useless because, like, say you have a Hamon, your opponent outs it by card effect, and now they want to attack you directly, well, they won't be doing any damage. The same turn that they out your Hamon, so it gives you a chance to recover. Yep, go ahead.
The first effect of Cerulean Skyfire is like neat. Like, okay, you can use face down spells too.
Yeah.
But like this card is mostly for that second effect where it's, spell or trap negation. Right?
Yeah.
And then remember too that like, okay, so they try to play a spell to out your Sacred Beast. Well, you negate, and now you switch it to defense, and now Hamon's defense position effect kicks in where it's, 4,000 defense and they can't attack your other monsters.
Yep.
So it has that synergy there. And the likely no damage thing is nice, but it's really mostly about that spell trap negation.
Right, yeah. And this is the type of once per turn negation, which I think is okay at our current power level because it's quite situational. Because you would have had to already have summoned Hamon plus drawn this in combo with it, right? Because even all your search consistency cards, you probably need those just to get Hamon out on the field. So in addition, then you have to hard draw this, and it's just like a very bad, like it's obviously a completely useless card if you don't have Hamon. So yeah, I think this is actually balanced enough to have, even though it's negation.
Yeah, agree. Plus it's a cool name and art, so that's important.
Yep. Just make sure you don't say Scarfire, which I was about to say.
Sound like an idiot.
I know, right?
All right. Next we have Dimension Fusion. Pay 2,000 life, each player special summon... No, wait, hold on. Dimension Fusion Destruction. Sorry. You banish from your hand, field, and or graveyard the fusion materials that are listed on a Phantasm Fusion monster, which we have a couple of that are not the one we showed you yesterday. We actually have good ones. Then special summon that fusion monster from your extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. You take no battle damage from attacks involving the monster special summon from this effect, which can actually be quite relevant. Even the one that we went over yesterday, it gains 10,000 attack on your turn, but it has 0 attack on your opponent's turn.
Yes.
But now you take no battle damage. So, it actually, gets rid of that part. If you control a Sacred Beast, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this card's activation.
Nice.
You want to maybe look at our monsters we can summon?
Absolutely. So we lied. One of them is the same one as yesterday.
I got it.
So yeah, we're not going to go over this again. But the reason why this is also in the best case is because we wanted to have this one. And this one specifically needs that one, so you'll see. First of all, its name becomes Armitage the Chaos Phantasm, so that's whatever. Once per turn during your main phase, you can give control of this card to your opponent. You're like, Chairmaster, this card sucks. Keep reading, dude. Keep reading. Once per turn during the end phase, if this card's control was changed this turn, banish all cards you control. You know how Santa Claus lets them draw a card if it was summoned to their field that turn? Yeah, this banishes all cards they control, essentially. And then the owner of this card can special summon one Armitage the Chaos Phantasm from the extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. So, like, if I'm dueling Justice, I give Justice my Phantom of Fury. I'm still the owner of that Phantom of Fury. So, I'm the one that gets to summon Armitage the Chaos Phantasm, which is why that's in this deck.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. You give your opponent the card. During their end phase, all of their cards are banished, including Phantom of Fury. But then you get to bring out Armityle to then, hit them for 10,000.
Yeah, pretty much.
They banished all cards they control, so they're not gonna have any back row.
Nope. Yeah, it's really cool. And then we just told you the card that helps you summon it. So yeah, Graveyard Fusion. Wouldn't that be nice? All right, moving on.
Next one, we have Fallen Paradise. Hey, I talked about this earlier. Now let's actually go into what it does. Your opponent cannot target either the 3 Sacred Beasts or Armityle the Chaos Phantasm in your monster zones with card effects, which is actually kind of nuts already. Also, those monsters cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects while you control them. So they're huge, and now they can't get rid of them. Is this card too good for speed? Yes, probably. Anyway, moving on. If you control one of the Sacred Beasts or Armityle in your monster zone, you can draw 2 cards. You can do that once per turn. So this is obviously very good when you're bringing out 4,000 monsters that then can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects, and gives you a pot of greed once per turn. That is very good. This actually may be one of the highest power level things that we've put in our best cases now that I'm thinking about it.
I will say the reason it's okay is because Cosmic Cyclone, Dust Tornado, Izana, if you don't have anything else in your back row, all exist as answers, and all are commonly played cards. Double Cyclone is even seeing some play now.
Yep. That's the thing. Fallen Paradise does nothing to protect itself.
Yes.
So it does demand removal, which is still something.
Right.
But it is obviously very strong.
So the thing is, it has readily available answers in pretty much every current deck that's a threat. So that would be the only kind of balancing factor. But being honest, I see this potentially being a skill rather than a spell. Whereas if your opponent outs it once and they have the chance to out it before you do anything, if they're going first, for example, I could see it being activated at the start of the duel.
Yeah.
And give your opponent the first shot to out it. Yeah.
I think it makes sense, and also I think it could be a skill again where they nerf the original effect.
Right. That's true.
I don't know exactly how. I don't know exactly what they would do, but I could definitely see this being a skill that they.
You start with 1 less card. Remember those?
You start with 5 less cards. Yeah, but obviously, Fallen Paradise by itself is great.
Yep. Okay. We got this card. If you're a Plasma enjoyer, you will love this card. This card is a Dueling Book!
6 hours later.
Next card we have is Fires of Doomsday. Like I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted. If you know, you know. Alright. Fires of Doomsday. If you're a Plasma enjoyer, you will love this card, because as a Plasma enjoyer, I want this card a lot. Special summon 2 Doomsday tokens. They're fiends, so that's good for Raviel, which is why it's in this deck specifically. They cannot be treated for a tribute summon. So again, Raviel is a special summon, not a tribute summon, so it makes sense. So is Plasma. Unless it is for a dark monster. So it can be tributed for a dark monster. So, but we don't really, tribute summons are not great in Speed Duel right now, so don't worry about it. You cannot summon other monsters the turn you activate this card. Who cares? It's a quick play, you fool! We did it. We power crept Stray Lamps. We did it. Cool. Alright. Do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, it's just, end phase Fires of Doomsday, your turn, do what you want.
Yep.
Obviously, it has its uses, for sure. But they're 0/0, so the tokens themselves aren't doing anything. But no, it definitely has good uses. You and I both want this card, so yeah, let's get it.
Plasma!
Alright, next we have Opening of the Spirit Gate. Which is...
Dueling Book!
3 weeks later.
Alright, next we have Opening of the Spirit Gates, which is a continuous spell and is obviously a nod to the anime, which is cool. When it's activated, you can add one of the Sacred Beasts or one monster that specifically lists any of those cards in its text from your deck to your hand. And then, once per turn, you can discard 1 card to special summon a Fiend monster with 0 attack and defense from your graveyard. Which is good because, remember those beasts that we talked about earlier? They have 0 attack and defense, so pretty cool. And then once per turn, if you control a level 10 monster, like, say, I don't know, one of the Sacred Beasts, for example, you can add a continuous spell from your graveyard to your hand. You can only activate one opening the Spirit Gates per turn, which means you can technically use the effect of more than one per turn. You can only activate one of these cards per turn. So yeah, obviously there's a lot of synergy. You know, you can get back your Summoning Beasts, which I'm just going to use to describe all of them, even though they're not all called Summoning Beasts, but whatever. You can use them to, you know, revive them. You get those graveyard effects, right? Like, you tribute, you get it back. You can get your continuous spells back. So yeah, it has really, really nice synergy with the deck as a whole.
Yep. No, I like it. You play, I guess the goal would be to, from what we had here, you could recycle a Skyfire, or you could just recycle a second copy of Opening if you have another one in your graveyard, right? So, I mean, hey, that effect's really not the reason. The reason is to special summon your beasts or search your beasts. So, that's really it. All right. Gonna get a little generic here, although you could argue Fires of Doomsday was already generic. Monster Reincarnation. Discard a card, target one monster and give it at your hand. I believe we did some research and found this was in either Kagemaru's anime deck or in one of the decks he had in one of like the very old like video games. So
that was one. Yeah.
So
it's thematic, but also like it works, right? Because you know, let's say you pitch one of your Sacred Beasts to the graveyard, now you need it in your hand, bam, easy.
Yep, easy. Also, you know, like Justice mentioned earlier, some of these guys have graveyard effects, so pitching them is fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. All right, now we're going to move on to our trapped support for our Sacred Beast. And first we have Awakening of the Sacred Beast with very cool card art. This card gains these effects based on the number of Uriah, Haman, or Ravi Elves with different names that you control, so it maxes out at 3 for us in Speed Duels.
Yes.
If you have at least one, each time your opponent normal or special summons a monster or monsters, gain life points equal to the attack of that monster, which is neat. If you have at least 2 Sacred Beasts of different names, negate the activated effects of monsters your opponent control. So this actually does help deal with Cyber Angels quite a bit.
Yes.
Because they can't Edatin boost.
Nope.
Because even from the graveyard, Edatin is still an activated monster effect.
Well,
which
it says controls. It says controls.
Oh, it says controls. Just kidding. See, we cheat. That's what we do here. We're Speedball players. So they can do that, but they can't Izana you, because that's control.
Izana can't force this card to go to the graveyard. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, you know, if you activate something that targets a Crystal Cyber Angel,
Yes.
then Izana cannot activate her effect to destroy one of your cards.
Yes.
So that is good. And if you control all 3, any monsters sent to your opponent's graveyard are banished instead. So, you know, that can be helpful against certain decks.
Yep, that's basically a Dimensional Fissure, but only for your opponent. It's not bad.
And then once per turn, if you control a level 10 monster, which you want to, since that's the whole point of this card, you can add a continuous trap from your graveyard to your hand.
Yep. And why don't we talk about some of those continuous traps you'll be adding to your hand, starting with another Sacred Beast support, Hyper Blaze. This is specifically support for Uriah. To special summon Uriah using its own procedure, once again, why are we using the word procedure, not effect, whatever? You can also use face down traps you control, sure. Once per battle, that just makes it faster. Once per battle, when an attack is declared involving your Uriah, you can send one trap from your hand or deck to the graveyard. Its attacking defense becomes the number of face-up traps on the field and in the graveyard times 1,000. So if only Hyperblades is your face-up trap on the field, it's still an extra 1,000. That's still cool for the rest of this turn. Once per turn, you can discard a card, add to your hand, or special summon a Sacred Beast from your graveyard, ignoring and summoning conditions. There's the revival we wanted yesterday.
There it is. And by the way, I just want to point out, Hyperblaze is actually minimum 2,000, so you have to send a trap from your graveyard to activate it. Its effect.
Oh, that's true. Yes.
That's minimum 2,000 attack and defense, and ideally more.
True. Yep. So once again, if you happen to draw Hyperblaze, all those effects where you can discard a card, you know, Snipe Hunter, Monster Reincarnation, all of a sudden discarding your Uriah specifically with Hyperblaze becomes pretty good. So, yeah.
Yep. Alright, moving on. We're actually going to do some trap monsters here, but unlike yesterday, we're doing some good ones. So, Odeon players, rejoice. Your deck is getting much better right now.
Yep.
But also, they're actually good trap monsters, for some of Uriah support as well. So first we have Statue of Anguish Pattern, the thing that, actually makes trap monsters really good.
Yes.
You special summon it as an effect monster. It has 0 attack but 2500 defense, so kind of bulky on the back end. If summoned this way, it cannot be targeted by opponent's card effects while you control another trap card that is a monster. So that's neat. And if a card is special summoned from your spell and trap zone to the monster zone while this card is a monster, so basically if you've already activated this and then you activate another trap monster, you can target a card in the field and destroy it. And that is not once per turn.
No, it's not. That's really good. We're like, guys, we need more good trap monsters. Don't worry about it. We got you covered. We got Tiki Curse. Special summon as an effect monster. Was an effect monster. If another trap card that is a monster battles an opponent's monster after damage calculation, destroy that opponent's monster. So again, similar to Anguish Pattern, the effect is really good when you have other trap monsters to pair with this. And we have one more.
Yes. And also worth pointing out, it's non-targeting destruction. So there's
That's true. That's true. Yes.
Yes. And then we have another Tiki. We have Tiki Soul. Special summons that as a 1000 attack, 1800 defense. So the inverse of Tiki Curse.
Yes.
And while it is an effect monster, if another trap card you control that is a monster would be destroyed by your opponent's card, either battle or card effect, and sent to your graveyard, you can set it in the spell and trap card zone instead. So even if they would be dealing with your trap monsters, you can just reset them if you want to.
Yes. Yeah, so you can see how Curse and Soul combined, or Anguish and Soul, or Anguish and Curse combined are all like really good combos. If you somehow manage to get one of each, then that's like really good. So, yeah. Okay, cool. We have a last card here. We threw this in again. I think it was because it was in a Kagemaru video game deck. But if it's not, we just like this card. So there.
If it's not, yes, it was. Shut up.
There you go. Makes sense. This is Divine Wrath. When a monster effect is activated, discard a card, negate the activation. If you do, destroy that monster. Magic Jammer for monster effects, which is a lot better because monster effects are a lot scarier than most spell cards.
Yep, and also much more common.
Yes, true. So this would be easily the best counter trap in Speed Duel so far. Where we get it?
Yeah. We do we have counter traps? We don't have counter traps.
Right? We don't have not real ones. The ones we have are fake. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you have any final thoughts on Sacred Beasts?
Yeah, Sacred Beasts are actually super fun.
Yes.
I played them a bit in like Master Duel, like way back already. It's actually a really fun deck. I do think this is overall very strong. I think out of all our best case scenarios, this is one of the strongest, for sure. But it would be a ton of fun. Again, as I feel like we mentioned in the last few best case scenarios, in case you haven't seen those others, just remember, best case scenario decks are not meant to be put in by themselves into the current Speed Duel card pool with nothing else, because obviously they'd be broken. They are meant to all be added together in this hypothetical scenario, so we have a bunch of new strong strategies competing against each other. So in that context, it makes a lot more sense. I do think this is one of the better ones that we've come up with.
This is.
But yeah, Sacred Beasts are super fun. Like they're cool because they're, you know, anime, really important cards, you know, huge deal, that actually have some pretty neat support cards that make them playable. So I like it.
Yes. I will also say, add on to your point there by saying, remember, best case scenario is a scenario in which every single one of the 8 decks is immediately good and competitive. And that was our attempt with all these best case scenarios.
Yep.
Before I give it to Justice again, I want to say one thing. We're not done. We got a couple of special surprises coming at you on the next 2 weeks here, which are still like prediction, best worst case related. So look forward to that. It could be literally anything. So
it could be literally anything. Yep, we did all 8 decks, but there's still more.
That's right.
You thought you were done with us, but you're not.
Nope, not at all.
All right, so yeah, look forward to those. As we say at the end of each of these videos, let us know what your best case scenario looks like. What cards do you want to see for Kagemaru / Sacred Beasts? Tell us if you think we're absolutely crazy for including any of these cards, because I know at least one of you will, and that's okay. But again, remember, look back at the other best case scenarios. If you haven't watched those yet, go back and watch those, then come back and compare, and you see why it all makes sense together. But yeah, let us know what you think in the comments below. And we will have more videos up next week for you in this series. But until then, as always, my friends, be good to yourselves, be good to each other, good luck in all of your games, and we will see you soon.